Because I know somewhere deep down in my heart, I still love you. I still love you. I still love you.
What's up? Once again, it's your man RP Boo, special segment. Like to say, special shout out to my man, get well soon. You know who you are, Rash. On that note, we got a special interview. Tony and L.O.T.C, FreshMoon Records and TillDef Records. All day long, here we go. Tony, FreshMoon, and L.O.T.C all the way from Texas.
Yo, what up?
What's good?
MoonDoctor, TillDef,
Yeah.
FreshMoon Records, aka Tony and L.O.T.C, all the way from Texas.
Repping that Teklife
Yes,
or
sir.
no life.
Tech
What's
life.
been going on? How have y'all been?
Oh man, we've been great. Just right now, loving this weather in Chicago, man. Catch a glimpse of where we're at.
Oh yeah. We in a secluded area that no one don't know about, but we ain't gonna tell y'all where it is and such.
Feels really good to be back home. You know, I was born and raised here, and it feels good to bring L.O.T.C up here all the time and let her indulge in how great the city is. So we're just kicking it, man. You know.
So L.O.T.C, you ain't from here?
San Antonio, Texas.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
You don't sound country. I thought them Texas people got them southern accents.
Right. A lot of people tell her that too. That she don't even sound or act like she's from Texas. Not to diss anybody from Texas, but you know, L.O.T.C definitely got that city vibe going on. You know.
Okay, so let's bring this in hand. What made you call yourself MoonDoctor and what made you call yourself TillDef?
Well, I originally went by L.O.T.C for a long time as a drum and bass artist. And then I switched my name up to TillDef. And then that was too played out. So I said, okay, I gotta do something different. So I said TillDef because once my hearing's gone, you know,
She
that's
feels
it.
that she ain't gonna be fresh no more.
Yeah.
So I feel she'll always be fresh, even if she did lose her hearing. But you know, that's a different story. MoonDoctor, basically, I inherited MoonDoctor from my father, Tony MoonDoctor Sr., who is a house legend here in Chicago. You know, my dad's been DJing here in Chicago since I'd say the late 70s, on the south side of Chicago, Rush Street. He was actually one of the, he was working with the buyers for imports, etc. So my dad carries a lot of history with house, and you know, how it came to be actually is a friend of ours, Percy Person, keyboard player of ours, keyboard player / friend of ours in Nashville, Tennessee. They were at a DJ gig, and you know, he just randomly told my dad, like, you know, Tony, you're gonna be the first DJ on the moon. Now our last name is MoonDoctor, so he put it together for MoonDoctor. So that's how the name came to be. My mom and my dad actually used that name for a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, there's a couple albums that you can see on Discogs, they'll say MoonDoctors with the S, because it was my mom and dad producing and mixing house back in the day. So, you know, time went and they pretty much dropped that name, and as I got into production, I found out that history, and I just loved that name, MoonDoctor. So I just took it and ran with it, you know?
Oh, that is a blessing. So with FreshMoon, you're more the producer and you're more the DJ, I assume, or?
We're both the producers, we're both the DJs. We both carry our strong points. I will say her strong point is more in DJing, my strong point is more in production. But she definitely can produce her ass off, and I definitely could DJ my ass off. So it's really a give and take, and we're learning from each other, and that's the really cool part, is that through our strong points, we create MoonDoctor and Fresh TillDef and vibe off each other with her, excellent background in drum and bass and jungle, and my excellent background in house music and juke music. When you put that together, it's definitely, Fresh Moon, what we are.
Yeah, I notice it when, the motivation that y'all give with each other, thus making each other better, just building a bond is something so creative that draws a big impact to the world as y'all share what y'all have to offer within y'all music. So I really appreciate that. But which brings me to this next question. What made y'all hear more Footwork, as it started to grow? Like, when was your first time hearing it just skyrocket, or what caught your attention to it?
Well, I mean, being from Chicago, back in I've always heard of ghetto house music and juke music. I mean, that's what it's been for years. Footwork, I didn't start getting into until probably like 08, 09, when, Rashad and Spin and RP actually started releasing stuff digitally. But before that, I was following juke tracks, DJ Sluggo, gotta shout out my boy DJ Diablito, is actually the person that got me into producing juke music. So that was like in 08, 09. Now, when I moved down to Texas, that's when I brought it and introduced it to Texas and L.O.T.C. And when she first heard it, I mean, she loved it, and I would say like the first, we both kind of got into Footwork together, because I was mostly producing juke, 4 to the floor juke, Host It Down, Paper Planes juke. It was just a lot 4 to the floor, and when we met, we were spinning juke tracks, and that's when I would say like the first Footwork track I heard was Low Life by Rashad, and that, I forgot where that came out. I think I got it off Electro Bounce or something, but immediately that grabbed me into, okay, so the halftime stuff does work with juke, because what we were doing is we were already doing like the halftime, but more so it sounded like trap. We weren't doing the 12th notes and the 24th notes and stuff like that. So I would say around what, 09?
Yeah, late 09.
Like late 09 is when we heard, after we heard that, Rashad, that Low Life, and then we heard everything else that was being put out, RP, of course, Tracks, man, immediately fell in love with the whole culture. Of course, we knew about Footworking from Chicago, but just not on that underground level. But once we got into it, we definitely got it. It definitely was already instilled in us to make Footwork. It definitely is our blood.
Man, for someone that came from Chicago, then spread it and introduced it to a whole different state, which caused the dawn of a new era of being our dance culture of juke foot being introduced to the States, and now to New York, then later to England, Germany, Japan, Poland, just plain worldwide, even Russia.
Yeah.
And Russia's a tough country, from what I hear.
Yeah.
And that's just something that we've all been yearning for years.
Yeah.
Some say it's late, but it's never too late, because better late than never.
I mean, it's just begun. I mean, being down in Texas, we've seen a whole scene flourishing, with Footwork and juke, and it just started. It's not as strong as it needs to be right now, because a lot of people are still trying to get the movement of even how to dance to footwork. But a lot of people don't know that you don't always have to just footwork to footwork music. You could dance however way. It's a free form of expression, just like the music is. It's not just you always have to know how to footwork, or you're not on the dance floor because you don't know how to footwork. I mean, you can definitely. It's rave music. It's club music. It's you could bob. You could do whatever. I mean, it's so expressive with the timing. That you could dance however way you want. You don't only got to footwork to footwork. And a lot of people shouldn't even try to footwork because they just look silly. Leave the footwork into the professionals, unless you're gonna professionally take a class, from somebody like Manny or somebody that's giving classes to really know how to do it. Don't make yourself look like a fool.
All right.
Just have fun and dance.
So, when did y'all first meet Rashad and Spin?
In LA. We went out there to visit some friends, and we saw So Simple was doing a party, and we went out there. We were like, well, let's hit it up. That's when we first met him, made connection. Then from there.
Yeah, from there it was pretty much history, because when we first met Rashad, he had knew of us through us pushing out Footwork Juke, obviously, before we even met Rashad, and it would be an honor to be a ghetto technician or part of Teklife.
I'm gonna tell you something. We keep up with what's going on before y'all find out what's going on. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's Chicago, real. Like, oh, I know about you.
Yeah.
The next time we ran into him was we actually brought him down to the night we do 808K, and he ended up coming to our wedding and playing at our wedding, which was a mad blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, he graciously blessed us with his turntable skills and brought some footwork and juke to our wedding. So it was.
Did y'all footwork?
Actually, no, but Phil and Dejo actually battled each other towards the was it Spy? I'm sorry, they look the same, act the same. Dejo and Spy, the brothers. Anyway. Spy and Phil, there was actually a little footwork battle going on. They killed it. But yeah, what happened was that we booked Rashad in Texas, and through trying to contact Rashad for so long, and he's such a busy guy. He gets hit up by so many people. It just took to us meeting each other face to face and breaking bread and really getting to know each other and how down we are for footwork and Jew culture, and when he picked up on who we are, as people, that's when he made us a part of Teklife.
Yeah, because that's when I saw the Instagram. Y'all had a nice studio and all that. Y'all was just putting in work. You, Phil, FreshMoon, yourself. I was just like, man, I'm seeing the progress grow. Like Tech, that's when I first saw the spark of Teklife starting to be spreaded, from New York. So I was like, we got a down south connection. Oh!
That was the part that made me just totally smile and be like, damn, it's moving.
Yeah.
But I said it ain't gonna be no overnight success.
Right.
And those that's actually doing it now, you can tell it's from the heart.
Right.
So if it's from the heart, that's what makes it longevity.
Right.
And that's why I kind of named the album Legacy, because once it started, it don't stop, because it's enough people that's here right now that's going to keep the legacy going. And it's all about, in order for a legacy to live, you have to give up something.
Right.
And basically, what are we giving up? We basically giving up the hatred toward other genres. And like I told people, footwork got a face.
Right.
Other genres, whoever started with that other stuff,
That's true.
it's gone. Pop as the genre, the face of pop is gone.
Right.
And that's Mike.
Yep.
Other than that, hip-hop is just a slang, whatever term of genre of music,
Right.
confused with rap.
Right.
Yes.
House was basically from New York. You got techno, ghetto tech, you have dubstep, but when it comes time to footwork, it has a face. And I tell people, I'm gonna make that face last. So when it's gone, the legacy is keep going.
Yeah.
So those that embrace it, you are part of the legacy. So I appreciate what you all do,
Definitely,
and
man.
just keep doing it.
And that's an honor, man. I mean, coming from the Godfather himself, man, who pretty much started all of this footwork culture. That's definitely a blessing, you know, to hear those words from him, and to know how hard we work at everything we do. More so just for the love of the music, you know what I mean? And that's why we started a label, you know, that's why we stepped out of line into promotions, and we're jacks of all trades, you know. We don't only just, you know, sit in the studio and produce and put out tracks on the internet. Like, we really are working hard for the movement, for the culture, you know, not just for ourselves, for popularity, or to try to be somebody we're not. You know, we actually have history in music and dance music, and now we're bringing that history to the footwork, you know, and like he said, we are part of this legacy now, you know, because it's only begun. So it definitely is a blessing, all of this, you know, the record label, the studio that we built. We just, you know, all thanks be to God, for sure.
Most definitely.
First and foremost.
Yes.
You know, that's
All
what
Praise
thanks
him.
be to God.
Praise
and
him.
that's why we're blessed. It's because we put God first. We
Yeah.
put our trust in God, and it's all thanks to Him. So, you know, we're just gonna keep it moving forward. We got a lot of things planned for the label.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of releases coming up. We put out the compilation at the beginning of this year. We've been kind of quiet with the label. Excuse me. Just because we want to do it right. We're getting all our eggs in a row, and we're gonna do it right. We're not just gonna be that label that just pops out of nowhere again, because every day you got a label that you see, a new label popping up on Twitter and SoundCloud. And we're not just gonna be that other label to come and go. Like, we're here to stay. FreshMoon is definitely here. FreshMoon,
yeah.
Teklife. Like, we're gonna be pushing out. You know, everybody on Teklife is gonna have releases. You know, everybody from Chicago is gonna definitely have releases on FreshMoon, and internationally. We definitely got a lot of things in store.
Now this brings me to this next question. Now this involves with, let's say, the people that involves it, because back at home, you know, we're in a situation where we got to deal with catering to the foot workers, but what people fail to realize is that the foot workers are the minority of the people. That's just a small fraction of what the whole world is dealing with. You know, people got complaints of how tracks changed over the years,
Right.
and people not adapting, not accepting that, you know, people from like outside such as are like, what do they know about footwork music?
Right,
Woo,
right.
woo, woo. When it's like, you gotta remember, you know, music gets spreaded, hip hop got spreaded,
Right.
you know, jungle got spreaded, house got spreaded, you know, R&B, all of any music of genre got spreaded and made it a international name for itself. So give us your insight of how do you feel that these footworkers, the minority people, got something to say about people outside such as yourselves when y'all just trying to make good music for the people, period.
Right. I mean, you know, you wanna touch on that?
Well, I mean, you know, it's not like we totally don't know anything about footwork or juke. You know, definitely I've done my research as well as, you know, him, and you know, being around, you know, Teklife and everybody in the scene, it just kind of, you know, it's a natural love. You know what I mean? I fell instantly in love with it. And I don't think music should just be directed towards a certain style of dancing. I mean, it's evolving already, you know. I know that's where it came from, but it's evolving to people that don't even know anything about footworking, you know what I mean, or how to footwork, but they still love the music. I mean, really, I don't know what else to say.
It's, you know, first and foremost, I mean, we pay the highest respect to all the Chicago footworkers and the producers from Chicago, and we realize that that's a sound that's untouched, and, you know, a lot of people try to gimmick, but they'll never be able, because it's more soul than anything that comes out from the streets of Chicago. It's not anything that you could duplicate. It's more spiritual than anything, if you want to get deep into it. And Chicago, of course, historically is a breeding ground for talent and for especially with music, for new sounds to breed out of the city, and Footwork being one of them. I mean, Juke and Footwork coming from the ghettos of Chicago, you definitely got to respect that. Now, as far as people taking the sound, I mean, if anything, the people from Chicago should definitely be 100% grateful and feel blessed that their sound was able to even reach outside of Chicago and outside of their hood, and that's what, like 808K Volume 1 was a mixture of, you had R.P. Boo, and then you had Tex, you had
all different flavors.
Right, and they're basically, they have full respect for the originators. If you go hear their sets, they're playing tracks from the hood. They're not, I wouldn't say all tracks, but they definitely pay the respect. And it's good to know that, that your sound, as far as recognition, now that's up to the person. Like, you can't expect people to know who you are or what you did with Footwork, and you're not doing anything for yourself. So definitely people like RP and Rashad and Spin and Earl and Trax and and the list goes on. The people that put in work, I don't think they have any complaints about the sound. They shouldn't, because it should be an honor that people are taking their sound to a next level. Now, it's a problem when people start claiming that they originated Footwork when they did it. That's a different story. But when you got people paying respect and taking Footwork into other styles like jungle, a lot of the new Teklife stuff that's about to be coming out is influenced from a lot of jungle and drum and bass, which is in Europe. So music is it's an everlasting cycle. Nobody could really claim anything. They could just endorse it and just be positive about it, because we don't need the negativity in this culture. And that's what happens with a lot of new genres that try to rise. It's just the negativity, and everybody claims this, and so yeah, I mean,
and that's the state we're in. I don't mean to interrupt, but that's the state we're in as far as Chicago. When we try to establish something big, our piece back in our homeland just stabs it.
Right.
And they'll try to come up with something else that'll just give us a slap to the face of what we was trying to establish years ago. But the funny thing was, we weren't in a sense of style, because we were just too busy making music, just sharing to the hood and to the people, and just dance and let them have a good time.
Right.
But when, as our people say, as things grew and the legacy started to be formatted, and a new genre was born with Footwork, then it led to more of a bigger attention for the kids and for the hoods and for the whole city worldwide to just get up and just have a good time and not worry about what's going on in your own life. Leave the BS at home. And when it started to get acknowledged worldwide, it's like now people want to bash it. And then I always wonder, why do it need to be bashed when y'all should have been appreciative years ago that, ain't nothing changed back at home, and it ain't gonna change anywhere else. And the people outside of Chicago is embracing it and loving it, and probably just as much as we are, because they understand where we come from.
Yeah.
It's just sad that like you say, it's not embraced here, but I'm gonna let, whenever interview come back, this interview, he said something in this interview that made a hell of a lot of sense, and people need to catch up to it. He basically told you why you're not making it for those who wanted to do something. When you see this interview, go back and rewind it. It was something that he said that was very, very positive and could be very helpful. But the issue is with this, is how much damage and how big of a hole you put yourself in.
So now, which brings me to this question. Now, you saying now different types of music is being shared forward with jungle and techno and trap, ambient music, and you know, I like it. You know, I like it the fact that Rashad earlier, they musically grown out of what a track is supposed to be, as these footworkers would say, but
The standard Chicago way to do it.
but me personally, ain't nothing wrong with doing it as long as it fits the track. And me personally, as long as it's still footwork, like you can still have fun and just dance and have a good time.
Right.
Because like you say, footwork is dance music. It's something to dance to, something to feel to, get that good vibe where you just
Right.
have a rush.
Right.
So
And I definitely hear, you know, a lot of producers, you know, including ourselves, making footwork, you know, that, you know, Chicago has its sound, you know, and I definitely hear producers that aren't from Chicago that still could implement that sound, because again, it's about the soul. It's about something you feel. It's not about just, you know, clicking in beats and just, you could always separate the fake from the real, you know. And you know, of course, Chicago has that signature sound that, you know, that track came out of Chicago. You know, that's a Chicago tracks producer, you know. But like I said, there are some producers that I've heard from different parts of the world that definitely feel that and that have picked up on that soul, and that's a good thing, you know. I think it's a good thing, and you know, anybody that hates on that just needs to step their own game up, you know. And if they're in it more for they're not getting recognition for something, then, you know, just step your game up. I mean, we're all ears. Everybody's here to listen. Everybody's open, you know.
personally, I feel people who do it for recognition are the ones that are come and go.
Right. Exactly.
That's not what it's about.
Right. And we
Like-
don't do this for fame or recognition. We don't want to be famous. We're here to stay true to the underground and just have fun with footwork and juke. And, you know, when people look back on this history, they could say, oh, well, you know, Tony and Lacey were, you know, one of the pioneers of all of this, you know, because again, it just started, you know. Now, it's been going on for years, but I'm talking on an international basis with bringing footwork more to the world than just Chicago. And that's what we're helping doing with FreshMoon, you know.
And I really appreciate that, because it's like we didn't get acknowledged, I'd say honestly, till like 2010 when Bangs and Words Volume 1 come out. That's when it hit me like, damn.
Right.
Now we reaching international basis.
Yeah, Hyperdub Records, you know, Planet Moon, you know, Booty Tune out of Japan. A lot of labels, you know, in footwork right now pushing it. You know, big ups to all of them, man. Like, for real, like, it definitely is a blessing to the whole footwork and juke community that we got these labels that been pushing, you know, stuff like dubstep and house and, you know, other genres that are stepping into juke and footwork and that got a name for themselves. Like, it's a blessing, man. It's exciting.
And you want to know the blessing is? I'm doing an EP, and there's this one track we did. It was based off a dubstep track we format to. I'm like, man, we sharing each other, and you know, I love it.
Yeah,
it's
awesome,
beautiful. It's like, you know, I never thought I could, you know, sample a dubstep or stuff like that, man.
You got a lot of, you know, old drum and bass producers getting into footwork now and producing juke, and that's amazing to hear, because I mean, you know, drum and bass and jungle producers are crazy talented engineers and producers. I mean, not only on a production level, but on an engineering level. I mean, the sound is just huge, and when you got these guys starting to make footwork and juke, that just, it shows a lot, you know, for the whole scene. And just big ups to Chicago, man, all the work that y'all put in to keeping this alive to the point to where it's at now.
In the words of my man is a P.T.B from Goon Squad, thank God for footwork.
Yes.
Thank God for footwork. So this is gonna be a fun question. Name y'all top 5 all-time favorite tracks.
That's That's
Man,
hard.
there's so many tracks.
If you were to choose.
Man, and that's the thing about Footwork and Juke is there's so
It's so many.
many
Yeah.
tracks.
It's so many. It's so many. You can never know. It's so many.
Oh.
You can go for it.
Honestly, oh man.
It's so many.
You're gonna make me think for like 10 minutes to try to depict.
You know,
I mean, like a track that just just touches you like, oh my God, like I could play this so many times, you know.
I will say, you know, Rashad, of course, you know, he'd have to be my top. Footwork, well, it's hard, man. I mean, I'm gonna say, okay, Low Life again. Low Life by DJ Rashad was a tight track. What Speakers Are For, Our People, Tracks, man, We Are the Best. Man,
It's just too many.
there's just too many, man. You know what? I just want to say all my favorite tracks, man. Teklife, Tech DJs, like just
For
all my
sure.
Tech DJs, Teklife, RP, like all of it is just the shit. Top 5, I wouldn't even really have a top 5, man. It'd be
As
like
of right
top
now,
100.
As of right
Yeah.
now, that best cry ever, y'all.
Thank you. Best Cry Ever is a great track.
Cause somewhere, I'm like, that's it, cold.
I first heard that at the Boiler Room.
Yo,
And I was listening to it, and it was well produced. Everything was put back. I'm gonna tell you what happened with that track. It was like the track was made and it was dropped, and it was picked back up and say we can still play it.
Yeah.
It was in pieces.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a lot of different
Great
elements.
production.
I mean, you hear trap, you hear the amen break, so there's a lot of drum, you know, you got drum and bass influence. You have definitely got the footwork influence, the trap influence, you know, the chop that we did. That's just when you put MoonDoctor, Fresh TillDef, and DJ Rashad in one room, you get stuff like the Best Cry Ever. And that's just 1 out of 20 tracks that we got right now that are soon to be released. We got a lot of stuff, man, about to hit the Juke and Footwork community upside the head. So stay tuned.
Oh yeah. So which brings me to this question: will it be another 808K album? I want to be on it. No.
Yes, there will be, and we'll definitely we got to get that zip and download it. But yes, there will be another 808K Volume 2, which we are planning to do probably in the next few months here. Again, we're just getting all of our ducks in a row, man. As far as with the label, making sure we do everything 100% legitimate and have the right PR and distribution behind what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, anybody can start a label and jump on TuneCore.com and, you know, put stuff out on iTunes. But we're really trying to work the right resources and the right network to do this right, to be one of the top labels. in the
So,
scene.
all right. So I'm gonna end this with the final question. As y'all come to the homeland of where it started, what do you want to see grow within the footwork community?
Wherever in the world, how you feel? What you want to see happen to?
I want to see more respect amongst each other. Everybody should definitely respect each other, and you know, it's hard because with social media, I just think too many people say way too much, and you know, I understand that a lot of, you know, the footwork and juke producers here in Chicago have a lot of history that go back before this even popped off. But we gotta always remember there's a lot of people looking at us that listen to our music that have no idea, you know, who we are as people or whatever. Our fans, basically. We definitely have to keep things at a minimal level and keep things positive for the scene, because people are definitely on the outside looking in and they see the drama, they see, you know, the shit talking back and forth, and you know, people just need to work that amongst each other's, you know, call each other on the phone, inbox each other, but don't put that out, you know, on you know, the news feed and social media for everybody, including your fans, to see, because at the end of the day, you just burned a bunch of bridges that you didn't even know, and I guarantee that. So let's just keep it positive and keep it.
Support each other, really. It's all about just supporting each other. We're all in this together, you know.
Everybody should definitely. We all got crews, but at the end of the day, it's, you know, Footwork is not. It's a when you think of on a scale of 8 billion people in this world, it's not that huge. So let's stay tight. Let's stay together right now, you know, because we definitely need that stronghold to move forward. Definitely.
And at the end of the day,
respect.
When it comes to footwork, we all one family, we all one footwork, we all one juke, we all one big community.
We need plur and footwork. Peace, love, unity, and respect. Definitely.
True story.
Plur and tuck.
Well, I appreciate Tony MoonDoctor, Fresh to Death, FreshMoon collectively together, repping FreshMoon Records and Teklife. I really appreciate y'all time and such.
Thank
for
you.
real.
Thank
So
you for
know,
having us here, man.
I'm your host, Crossfire, for tonight. Thanks to my man RP doing the intro and such.
Thank you.
And we thank y'all for sharing the music, honoring us, man. It's all love at the end of the day. And I'm out.
Thank you too.